To sync your Roku remote if it does not have a pairing button, then all you need to do is remove the batteries from your remote, wait for 30 seconds and then put the batteries back in. And that's because if your Roku remote does not have a pairing button, that means that it's a non-smart remote which doesn't use Bluetooth, and so it doesn't need to be paired with your TV, because only the Bluetooth Roku remotes need to be paired in order to work properly. So just to make sure that you do have the non-smart Roku remote and not the enhanced voice Roku remote, which does need to be paired, if you remove the battery compartment and there's no pairing button, then you just have a simple infrared Roku remote which does not need to be paired with your TV. If you do have a pairing button, then your remote uses Bluetooth for some of the functions to control your TV, but it uses infrared for some of the other functions. So if you don't have a pairing button on your Roku remote, and even after removing the batteries, it's still not working properly and it's not controlling your TV, then we're going to run through a few quick troubleshooting steps. So first of all, make sure that you've got fresh batteries in and that the batteries are inserted with the correct polarity. So Roku remotes tend to have both batteries inserted with the same polarity. So rather than one top to bottom and the other bottom to top, they're both plus at the top and minus at the bottom. So make sure you're using the correct polarity for the batteries and the batteries are fresh. You can also check that the IR emitter on the remote is working, and therefore that the remote is sending a signal to your TV. If you've got an Android phone or some models of iPhone, so you can, if you have an iPhone, you can try using the front-facing camera or the wide-angle camera on the back, which tend not to have infrared filters and so can see the infrared light from your remote. But most Android phones are also able to see the infrared light from the remote. So if you open the camera app on your phone and then point your remote directly at the camera app and press a button on it, and you should see the LED in the infrared emitter light up on your remote. You won't be able to see it with the eye, but you should see it through the camera app on your phone. So this will let you know whether the remote is actually working or not. And if the remote is working and it's sending out a signal only when you press a button, then you know that the problem is with your TV and not with your remote. If you're not seeing the LED light up, then you know that there's potentially a problem with the remote. So the most common problem is jammed buttons or dirt or grime caught underneath the buttons that's preventing them from making contact. So to try and clear this, take the batteries out of your remote, hold down the power button for 10 seconds or so on the remote, and then forcefully mash every button on the remote and slap it against your palm a few times, and repeat this 3 or 4 times, just forcefully pressing down every button and slapping it into your palm to try and dislodge any dirt or grime underneath the buttons, and then put the batteries back in and try your remote again, and hopefully that will get it working. You also need to make sure there's no obstructions between your remote and your TV that could be blocking the infrared signal. But if your remote is still not working, then they're very easy to take apart, and then you can clean the internal circuit boards and check for any issues that could be preventing the buttons from making contact, because it's likely that there's still some dirt or grime caught underneath. And there's some tips for how to do this in the linked article below.